Hi, Nancy. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. Great to meet you. Let me know how I can help.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate you jumping on the call. I know that you are mainly in the tech space. I work in inside sales for a biotech company, so on the medical veterinary side. But I thought, I'd take the opportunity to just kind of pick your brain on kind of where I'm going with my career. I took a step down in my current role from a commissioned sales role for the opportunity to work my way up at this company. And just a little like context for you, the company that I work for is like the leader in the industry. They're like the Apple or Google, huge into R&D, and there's a lot of opportunity to grow. But I'm currently waiting for like a bonus sales role where I have a dedicated territory to open up. But it is kind of just a waiting game, depending on, what like movement as far as like positions go in the company and what territories open up basically. So I'm coming up on almost a year at the company and I can't decide on if I still, want to try to grow in sales or if I want to try my hand in another department. And then I also have this side thing where I want to kind of try to be like a content creator and, share like my outdoor adventures and travel. So just kind of career like mentorship. So, not sure if that's something in your wheelhouse or something you'd like to discuss, but, saw the chance to have a little bit of time with you. So figure I'd give it a shot.
Well, Nancy, look, I can hear already you've got great energy, a great way about you. Tell me this, if out of all the things you just described, you could only do one of them for the next 12 months, which one would it be and why?
Well, that's a really good question. I like the stability of the corporate life. And if I could grow, my income, that would be huge. But on the flip side, if I could pursue content creation, that would be amazing. But, you do need, something to fund that lifestyle and, have a house and a mortgage. So I'm kind of at a crossroads. But in the, I guess, immediate 12 months, I'd probably focus on growing my career and my income and then, look at content creation as still a sort of a side thing.
So content creation is the passion, but you can't see a path to monetizing it quickly and effectively enough for you to feel confident about doing that in the immediate term.
Definitely. And I know that I do have a talent in sales. My degree is in marketing and I've, done fairly well in sales. So, it's sort of like, well, you can follow your passion, but, it's a big, if and when you'll ever be able to monetize it. And my goal isn't necessarily to monetize it. I'm trying to do it because that's, what I enjoy doing, versus like the end goal of monetizing. So, and then I've also like played with the idea of, possibly getting into tech sales and, switching fields. So, the veterinary industry is a strong, tight industry. Like, when COVID happened, like we only got busier, my prior company, but I know that like there's a lot of income potential on the tech side. So I had a little taste of it when I worked at Gartner for a little bit, like straight out of college. So
Absolutely. Well, no doubt SaaS and tech sales is the place to be. With that said, when we look at your scenario, this is almost that blend between passion and purpose, and then just the reality, as you say, of the responsibilities that you have. So when we start to break this down a little bit more, when we look at your sales career and the sales side of the house versus the content creation, just tell me a bit more about what type of content creator you want to be. What's the vision there? How are you helping people?
well, I'd be helping people with sharing my passion and hopefully create entertaining videos. Last year I was super sick with COVID and I was on medical leave and stuck at home and I went down this crazy rabbit hole of van life. And I got, obsessed with it and thought, man, this would be like so amazing if I could, travel and go to all these, great parks and outdoor places and document everything. But I just couldn't see that happening because, a lot of van lifers, they're paying rent and then they go do van life. Like I have a mortgage, I have a house. So, if I could, create enough views and interest on YouTube to fund that lifestyle, that would be great. But at the same time, you're on YouTube yourself, so how many views and how successful you have to be to replace, income and like benefits from a huge, corporate job. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's what I'd say, Nancy. I think that any role that you choose to take, or if you go down the path of corporate, it's got to be really for one sole reason, which is skill acquisition. Well, two reasons: skill acquisition and to support your brand to help transition for you to become a content creator. One of the things that we shared a lot in our vision, in the sense that I always knew there'd be a time where I wanted to transition to being a full-time entrepreneur, creating content, helping billions of people around the world. But I leveraged my corporate career to create more brand IP, right, and more notoriety, but also to acquire a set of skills that I knew would be incredibly valuable and transferable when making that move into entrepreneurialism. So I think that you've got to take a moment to think about, first of all, what skills will be helpful on the journey I need to go on as a content creator. Am I planning to build a small team? Am I looking to just be a freelancer? Do I need to improve my public speaking skills? So making sure that I get some form of exposure, and then try and marry the role in the sector to where it is that you want to be over time. The second strand that I would add to this is that not to forget that we only have one life and we get diminishing returns on every second of time. The moment it elapses, right? As we get older, we have less, vigor and energy to run at some of these things. So also don't wait, be urgent here. Monetizing things can be sometimes slightly more straightforward than you may anticipate, even with a really small audience. If you build a small, really well tight-knit, great group of people that just absolutely support you, you can start with things like consulting calls or inspiration calls where you just charge a fee to connect with people. Maybe you do a little bit of consulting on the side for companies in areas that you've built expertise previously. So there are ways and quicker routes to keep the lights on. Maybe are clear right now in terms of just relying on YouTube ad revenue, for example. I'll pause there. Is anything helpful in what I just shared there?
Yeah, I think so. Keeping an open mind and considering some of those other avenues and, using my corporate, full-time job to kind of build some of those skills. But yeah, I mean, definitely connecting with people. I mean, I think, a lot of those things kind of overlap. Sales is, big in relationships and connecting with people. And, a big part of YouTube is, having that personality and, delivering value, to the audience, and kind of the same way you'd be delivering value in sales. So I definitely agree with what you said.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just think that you clearly got the passion on the content creation side of the house. But I appreciate always the challenge and nuance of keeping the lights on. But, the challenge with corporate is if you sit in it for too long in a scenario like yours, you can get cuffed by golden handcuffs for such an extended period of time that you don't end up following your passion. And I'd hate
That's
for
where I
that.
feel like,
Yeah. Oh,
that's kind of where I feel like I'm at, where it was like I took my current role, telling the person who's interviewing me, who is now my current manager, hey, I am taking a step down. I am turning down a commissioned offer at another company in another field to take this role at IDEX. Number one, for health reasons. I was still rebuilding my health after COVID, but so that I can get my foot in the door, because my company does hire from, internal. But, I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot, like, going into another department like sales support or something like that. And, my boss deterred me from that. But then I'm kind of like, well, it sounds like it might be good or exciting to like get out of a customer facing role. So I'm basically just like at a crossroads trying to figure out, what am I doing with my life?
I completely get it. I mean, look, one thing you should certainly do, Nancy, if you haven't had a chance is check out our website, saasshift.com. That's SaaS shift.com, because specifically what we do is have a discovery call to learn more about your current situation and see if we can help you to transition into tech and SaaS sales. So if that is something you are thoughtful about, let's have that conversation, because we can certainly help with the speed run, put some money in the bank for a year or two, then transition. Outside of, a decision to actually move into SaaS sales, I think that, it's clear that it would be helpful for you to just earn as much as is feasible to earn over the next year or so, to then create that ramp to move on and move on quickly. So you do need to be in a space, in a segment that's going to give you the best possible return on investment on every hour of your time. And I don't know a ton about the veterinary space, but I'd be very, very confident that your earnings in your first year and beyond in tech and SaaS would eclipse what you would expect in from a veterinary-based sales
For
role.
sure. It's less paid. Like, it's like, pharmaceutical sales, but like just paid wildly less. Like, veterinarians earn less than human doctors, and it's a very different type of sales. Like, when you're selling, in tech, it's like this, this concept of a program. You're selling like a solution or whatever, and it's more complex. Like, on this side of it, it's like, hey, we have these diagnostic consumables, snap heartworm tests, capital equipment, in-house like chemistry analyzers, and then reference labs. And, you're calling on a very specific person, not 20 different potential positions at a company. It's, straight veterinarians or the practice manager. So, I had a little bit of a rough start at Gartner, which made me a little hesitant to try to get back into tech sales. But, when you hear about the income potential and just with all the exciting things that are going on in tech, despite, the economic downturn, it's still kind of like been in the back of my mind. So I kind of, it's like, you want to stay like in the same industry to like build on that for your resume. But then at the same time, I'm still kind of like, well, if I did give tech a chance now with the skills that I've built over the past like 5 to 10 years, like, could it be better this time around? And, just exciting to consider, but I don't know, if that would be a good move. I mean, in your opinion, obviously you're passionate about it, but I mean, what do you really think about somebody like me pivoting to like a whole other industry like that?
Well, I think that, the reality is, as I say, it comes down to getting the best return on your time. You can tell you've got a great manner about you, infectious energy. Clearly what you need is, you need a blueprint, right? You need someone to walk you through the journey, layer on the coaching and the education to actually set you up for success, because it is a different type of sale, right? When you're selling software and the type of sales stages you have to consider, it's even different to the experience you would have had at Gartner, where in reality you're selling information in a way.
Mm-hmm.
SaaS, you are selling a productized piece of software that can, command in some cases multi-millions of dollars. And so there is some nuance, but if you're looking for a segment that can give you the best ROI on every hour of your time, it's absolutely that. It's just, you need the coaching, the mentorship, and the education and the community, and then that sets you up for success. So, look, I think you have the DNA for it, but of course there would be a road to go down for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I definitely appreciate all of this, information, and you taking time on the weekend, and congratulations on your new company as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And as I say, we're happy to be helpful. But beyond that, it was lovely to speak to you. Please do keep me updated with your journey, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Oh, thanks. You too, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.